Welcome to Momentum, a motorsports podcast powered by High Gear Success. I'm your host, Heather Wilson Schultz. Here we share the stories and strategies that keep the world of motorsports moving forward. And I'm excited to chat with Adam McGill, one of the most recognizable personalities in ATV racing. From chasing wins to keeping it fun for fans, Adam has built a career on grit, maybe a little Crown Royal, and a whole lot of good stories. And today we're going to dig into his early career, what's kept him racing professionally for more than 20 years, and what's next for the Gator. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm definitely excited and a little bit nervous about what you're going to ask me today. So we'll see what we get into.
So for those that don't know, you and I go back quite a ways because your now wife, Haley, was actually my college roommate when we went to school at Ohio University many, many years ago now. So we've known each other quite a long time.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time. So when they got the house, when you guys got the house, I'll never forget the first time I met you. You had, I think you had your KTM jacket on, and Haley's like, she races or her dad races or something, has a dealership. I'm like, no way. And, long story short, you are the only one out of that friend group that she's still in contact with. So I think it's really funny how we go from meeting you to now we're doing the podcast and you're still involved in motorsports, and how it's like, it's almost come full circle, as crazy as it is.
And it's wild because this sounds so crazy to say these days, but I'm pretty sure Haley and I met from a Craigslist ad looking for a roommate. That's how we met.
Was it a personal? Was it a Craigslist personal?
So yeah, Haley and I didn't know each other, found each other, had that motorsports tie. And what I remember most about you, I mean, you practically lived at our house too, right? Is you sitting on our couch working on sponsorship deals. You'd have the phone on speakerphone and you'd be talking to all of your sponsors. And you've kept a lot of the same sponsors throughout your whole career. So how did you achieve that?
So growing up with the factory days and before social media and everything, it was a lot of work on the phone. And a lot of my strategy was I'd always make a list of people I had to call, and I'd always call them. If I didn't get an answer, I would do an X. If I got an answer but didn't get a contract, I'd get a check mark and so forth. And it was just day to day to day, just all the time. And I mean, I come from a time where I used to fax my resumes over. I don't know if I set such a precedence when I first started working with them, when I was doing my own deals and trying to figure out my own program. I don't know if I set so much of a, like I said, a precedence with them from those early days, or it's just as I've evolved and as the companies have evolved, the people that we've brought in and the people that we've seen go, and the input that I've been able to help with them growing year to year to year. I don't know if that's what it was, but I've had sponsors now since, I think my longest standing sponsor is I think it's DP Brakes and Larry Mills, 2004. I think when Larry jumped in, and he's been through all the factory days to the privateer days to, currently now.
Yeah, and I'm sure brakes are definitely something valuable to not have to spend money on. You're probably not the easiest on brakes.
Yeah. At my age now, I'm harder on brakes than I am on the gas.
How did you go about continuing those relationships with sponsors, and what are some of the more, I guess, valuable things that you've learned along the way as far as what they're looking for and what you can do for them?
So I've had some sponsors in the past that have been in the industry, have been in the industry a long time, and had to step away due to whether they got bought out, whether they had to restructure, whether, somebody new came in as far as the sponsorship side. And I stayed with those companies even through those times. So say, I was getting product to where I wasn't getting product and was only getting a discount, to now it's went full circle, and now I'm getting product again and potentially, getting paid to run these items. So for me, a lot of it was, I think, was going through the hard times, which was like 2010, 11, 12, sticking with those companies. And then we had another rough patch, I think 17, 18. So it's proving that you not only, like the product, you bleed the brand. And that meant a lot. And I went on my own in 2012. So it's been 12 years now, 13 years. I've been doing it on my own, and I've been very lucky to do that. And a lot of the companies just they send contracts out, dates are changed. They're like, if you're good with it, we'll keep it rolling. I'm like, yep, I'm fine with it. So it's paid off in the long run to take those lumps and to take that beating, I guess, because the company's taking the beating as well. And when you show that you're still investing in the brand, even though they're not really investing in you anymore, then when it comes back around, it's tenfold. And I've had a lot of companies come back and support me more now than they did before. Uh, we had that little breakup.
Yeah, I think the relationships are critical, and it's really important to not burn a bridge even when things aren't going super great, because just like you mentioned, things can always come back around. So to keep that relationship going, even when the times aren't the best.
Yeah, burning bridges is I've only I would say ever burnt one, but I didn't burn it clear to the ground. I definitely caught some ends of it on fire and have been able to, in my years, been able to mend that. And that's not a feeling that I like. And I told myself I would never do that again. And I will tell anybody that listens to this, me growing up, me being 38 now, some of the hardest decisions I ever had to make were some of the best ones. And, you know, the days in the factory rides, right? It's tough. It's tough to figure out what you want to ride. You got to juggle that, right? The financial performance. So, and now it's definitely changed a lot of the ways I look at things and how I go about stuff and how I approach ideas. And now with brands being there for so long, I've got lifetime contracts now.
So you turned pro at the end of 2005, and you've been racing GNCCs ever since. But how long had you been racing even before that?
So we raced cars growing up. My dad raced cars from the early 90s all the way up. I think our last race was 2000 or 2001 with the race car. And my dad's like, he's like, Jesus Christ. He said, I can't drive this damn race car. I don't want to drive it no more. You want to drive it, son of a bitch? I said, no. He's like, what the hell are we going to do? I don't know what we're going to do. And I said, I want to race my Fuller. He steps back and he looks at me. He goes, what? I said, I want to race my Fuller. He's like, all right, what do you want to race? I said, I want to race motocross because that's what you did in the late 80s. He goes, oh, Jesus Christ, you can't do that shit. That's just way too dangerous. You got to do something else. I said, all right. I said, let's do woods racing. He goes, okay. So I met up with a couple friends, and this was 2002. I met up with a couple friends. They were all older than me, and they all raced. And they took me to my very first race, and I'll never forget it. It was Reno, Ohio in 2002. I run C class. I pulled the whole shot. I was leading the race and wrecked on the last lap, went down over the hill, and ended up coming back or end up third. I was 14 when I raced. I had to lie about my age for 2 years. And then I got into GNCCs. I was 16 for 3 days, went to John Penton, raced that race, got up into the top 10 overall, and broke a chain.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so my first national in 2003, summer of 03. And
I love your dad, and I did not know that he used to race cars. Like, this is all new to me, so I love
oh,
that.
oh
I
yeah,
love that every time I see your dad, he always greets me with a hug. He's the
you
sweetest.
know, like, Jesus
So.
Christ, come here, Hattery, give me a hug.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's random. I had no idea about that past.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I've got old four-wheeler pictures from it. I've got one of the old deck lids that we put over where like all the tacks and everything, where all the electronics. I got the deck lid where we always put our winds, and I've got that still in my closet. And not very many people know that. We still got, I got pictures and stuff, and I don't have any up here that I could grab real easy. But man, that was definitely a staple. He's always like, I knew where you wanted to go racing every weekend. I said, how? He goes, because the concession stand has food. You always like these places better than this place. I'm like, Dad, what?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, Dad, come on.
So, also going back a little ways, you wrote a column for ATV Insider,
Yep.
and that later led to some factory connections. So, kind of tell us how that worked out.
So I met up with David Sloth, and there was another guy at that time that was doing the ATV Insider, and it was a bigger, like newspaper magazine style, bigger than a Dirt Wheels and a normal magazine, but it was all racing. And they approached me, I think in 2000, 7 or 6 and said, Adam, we like what you do. You're energetic. You're out and about. They're like, would you like to write a column in our magazine? And I looked at him. I'm like, if you can proofread it and break it down into paragraphs, because everything for me is one big run on, it's just written. He goes, yeah. And that column was called McGirt's Dirt. So I did an XC1, and then Jason Dunkelberger did Slam Dunk, which was the motocross side. And we just talked about, pretty much it was the social media before the social media is how I looked at it. And it was out every month, and I wrote the column every month, and it was always something different. We had columns that people loved to read. They loved it. And that then led to me getting a phone call and asking if I wanted to go do a demo ride or a ride for manufacturers with them. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'll go do that. They're like, all right, we're going to Rhode Island. I said, for what? They're like, the new KTM. And I was like, what? And I was 18. Yes, I was 18, I think, at the time, because that would have been the summer of 07. I went up there, all expenses paid, all the food I could eat. And they took us out to this area, and I don't remember exactly where it was, but I remember it was Rhode Island. And I got to meet all the engineers, got to meet the shock guys, got to meet Tim Farr. It was a super cool experience, and I think that's what opened the door a little bit for me to get in with them as far as making my deal and my decision in 2008.
Well,
But
and for
also
those that are listening to this that maybe don't even know, KTM made an ATV for a short time. So if you're like, why is
2
Adam riding
years.
dirt bikes? Like, he was going to test ATVs.
Yeah, so they did it for 2 years. I did get to ride a pre-production 2010 model. We did some durability testing on it, and it never made it to the States. So it was getting better year to year. Our first year was really good. I mean, we killed it coming out of the gate. And then 09, we still did great. We made a few changes. 2010, the bike was good. It was really good. And that's when things kind of went downhill. And, that also, the magazine, the riding the McGirt's Dirt to the KTM, that also led me to go to I-81 Motorsports Park and meet all the Can-Am and all the BRP engineers and all the managers and all those people. So the ATV Insider magazine, I feel like that kind of really opened the windows for me to be supported. My first ever podium, overall podium at this time, they never did, pro and pro-am. They did overall, and that was it. I got second at John Penton. I feel like that put me on the map, and I was 17. I was going to prom, so I had to hurry up and get off the podium, make it to prom, get showered, take a nap, all that stuff, and I still made it. But I feel like that put me there. But the McGirt's Dirt from the ATV Insider really opened that window for me to meet these guys. To, you talk about attitude and personality, and I've never changed. I feel maybe a little bit, during those younger years, trying to figure out where I was, but I could tell you that I think that really opened the door for me to be able to talk, to learn how to read people, to understand what they need as a rider, understand what they need as a spokesperson. And it was definitely a turning point in my career. That winter of 07, December 19th, 2007, I walked out of my job and became a factory rider. I'll never forget that.
That's a good date. December 19th is actually my birthday. So,
Well, your boy signed for a factory ride that day. And there was
that's
a
cool.
long period there where the paycheck didn't come, trying to get all the things figured out. That got tough. But the date was really badass.
So, you've connected with these manufacturers and different people in the industries, but one of the things that I love about you too is that you really connect with fans. And you told me a while back that one of your favorite trophies is actually a guitar that fans gifted you. So, why is building relationships with fans so important to you?
So the fan relationship, to me, I feel, has kept me in the sport so much longer than my performance side has. And I remember talking with a family in Indiana, the Myers family, and he goes, Adam, he said, you need to get more involved with with the youth. So what do you mean? He goes, you need to be at the starts. You need to do that. And I'm like, I'm involved with, at this time, I was still involved with kids, but I was very, I wouldn't say choosy because it sounds bad, but I was like, if I knew you, I migrated to you, right? And the same for others. But I said, you know what? Hell with it. Not the word I would use, but hell with it. I'm already there. Let's try it. So I started doing it, and then it started to become one of the things where they would then not expect it, but I had a family come to me and they said, Adam, you know what our son told us? I said, what? They're like, he said, me and Adam McGill are buds because he comes to my start and he gives me a fist bump every start.
Aw.
And then that point, now it becomes, now I'm accountable. So if you want to create long lasting relationships and you want to create a brand and you want to create those things, you have to start young. And that is where I've been focusing on, because if I can get Parks Unlimited, and I can get Obor, and I can get Lone Star, and I can get Axis, and I can get all the companies that supported me, and get these kids to get on it, right? Not a full ride, but get them to buy the gear at a discount, or get them to buy this, this. I can develop those relationships early and get kids that will bleed brands early, that are good kids that will be good for the brand. Not necessarily maybe the fastest, but they're very good for the sport. They're out there. They're hanging out with other kids. They're wearing the hat that I give them on the podium, or they're wearing the shirt that they got from their sponsors. Those are like those relationships that people don't see is creating those long lasting. But we talk about the trophy. This is something that I might get a little choked up, because this one means a lot to me, right? There's a lot of them in this room that means something. This one means a lot because this is something that was given out as like a normal award, right? Like a most improved rider, or rider of the year, or something like that, right? This was a award that a bunch of families went in, bought the guitar, took it to a shop, had it decaled up, and then surprised me with it at the banquet. So
Aw.
they brought up all the kids that wanted to be there, right? And the stage at the banquet was full. I mean, flooded. I'm like, and my wife is freaking out. Get your ass in here. Get your ass. And I'm in the back in a drink crown, hanging out with everybody. And so I go in there, and they announce me to come get it. I'm not at a loss for words on it. I don't like being at a loss for words on it, but that was, and like nobody ever tells you you're doing a good job. Nobody ever says like, "Hey, good job," or you never hear anybody say, "Man, thank you for working hard today." Right? You always hear about the negatives and all the, "Hey, you messed up," or "Hey, I got a problem," or like this was like a happy trophy. You know, this it says you did, like, you're doing good things, you're doing great stuff. For like people to do this and to do it at a banquet when it's like other people's moments. It's not my moment to take that away from somebody. But these families felt that strong about that to make it that big of a point to like give me, God, I sound like a wuss, to give me a moment to have with these kids. And what's funny is it came up on my memories. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago on my Facebook, that picture, and I'm just like, how weird. How weird.
Well, and you have a huge fan base and affectionately known as the McGill Mafia. So, how did that name come about?
So the Mafia started early. It started 2010, 2011, and it was with Can-Am, with the Warner Racing BRP team, and I it always felt like I love my KTM ride. I liked the guys. It was great. It was fun. But there was something about those the Can-Am guys. Todd Sterner, I still talk to him, to this day. He was my mechanic. Mark Warner, I still keep up with him, right? Dustin Pressure, which was Bithel's mechanic back in the day, I still keep up with him. And so like whenever I went to the races, it felt like family. And so what What goes with McGill? I don't know. So we decided Mafia. So we had the Mafia that was under the tent. And if you wanted to be a part of the family, you had to work and you had to bleed and you had what you was in, you was in. And that's where the the Mafia came about, was that. And then it rolled into what we are now, which that was a whole nother way we got that. And if you want to talk about that, we can, but it's the McGill Mafia started out as like, you have to be the family. You've got to be family. You've got not necessarily blood, but water. You've got to be willing to, I'm taking bullets for these kids and these other riders. You got to be willing to take one for me if I need it. And that's what it's about. It's about bringing people together. And the mountain bike community is a lot like that. It's like, if you're on a bike, you're cool, right? You're sweet. Get out here. Doesn't matter if you're in shape. Doesn't matter if you are. You're one of us. And that's like the community that I grew up in an ATV. If you're here, you're hanging out, you're part of this, you know what? You're cool with me. Come on in. Get under the tent. And so that's where the Mafia started.
It's the Mafia for the family, but minus the illegal activities.
Yes. Or there could be some, because there could be some actual members here. We don't know.
So now you're known as the Gator. Where did that nickname originate from?
So I love to sit down in the evening and have my favorite beverage. And I'm sitting there and I've got a fire going, got the dogs and everything, and got the TV going, and my mother calls. And I forget what year this was. This might have been like 15, 16. And my mom calls and she goes, Kurt, which Kurt's my middle name, and that's a whole nother story. She goes, Kurt, I'm proud of you. I'm thinking like, what? She goes, I'm proud of you. I'm like, you're going to have to elaborate, Mom. Break this down a little bit for me. She goes, you never force the issue. She goes, you're very smart. You're very methodical on how you race. You don't take big risk unless the risk is a guarantee, right? And I said, Mom, you know what? I was like, holy shit. She goes, what? I said, I'm a gator. She goes, what? I said, I just lay around in the pond, just float around, wait for you to come down, get a drink of water. You turn around, look at something else. Bam! I got you. And so that's how that started. And I was just like, I've never given myself a nickname, but like that one stuck. Like that one stuck crazy. And so now it's come to the point to where it's taken on this whole other world, that now it's like people don't even say Adam. They just go Gator. I mean, it's nuts. People don't say here comes Adam. They might say McGill, but it's like when you say the Gator, it is just an eruption. You know that we're going to have a good time. It's almost like a stage name. So it's like, my normal name is Adam. My stripper name is Gator. It's like almost like two lives.
Yeah. That's great. I did not know that backstory, but it makes sense though. I mean, it does. It fits.
Mm-hmm. It fits very well. And like, people are always like, why are you so mean, or why are you so this? And it's like, I'm not being mean. It's just, I don't change for people. I am who I am. I treat everybody the same, right? I'm a ball buster. Everybody's like, why are you like that? I said, because my skin's all leathery, but deep inside, I'm soft, man. I said, you can't get under the skin unless I really want you in there. So I've got a huge, really tough, scaly exterior, but once you get in here, it's all love, baby.
I love that. You have a lot of love for the military too. So you do some activities, vintage for vets. You've donated money. You've done fundraisers. So why is that so important to you?
So the veteran thing is very important to me, because I've had a lot of friends serve, and I've lost a lot of friends, and we couldn't do this. You couldn't do this podcast. I couldn't race. We couldn't talk about stuff if it wasn't for them. So in 2017, I think it was. I'd have to look back, but I decided I wanted to do something, and I wanted to do Vegas to Reno, and it was the longest desert race in America at the time, and it's one of the toughest, right? It's 10 hours plus to finish this event. The strategy, the everything you got to do, there's so many moving parts, right? Because you're going from this point to this point. You're not running a circle. And I said, whatever money I raise after the race is done, I will then donate. And let's try something, right? I raised some money. I got to do the event. I finished the event, and I was able to donate money to a veteran. And it feels good to help people. And, not necessarily veterans, but people in general, right? And I've got like all kinds of stories about like weird, like things like that. And it felt so good to help that I wanted that next feeling, right? So it was like a drug. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to do vintage for vets. I love two strokes. Veterans are older, right? In theory. So then it's like we like two strokes, we like old bikes. We're going to do this for a cause, and then it just erupted into what this is now, which is, I've got the vintage for vet thing going on, which people are donating to all the time. I've got a buddy race that goes on at Fast Tracks Motoplex in the fall that we raise money with, that people bring their old two strokes out and show them off and hang out and race. My mom told me, she goes, "You're put on this earth to help people." She goes, "That's why it feels so good." And like one of the most memorable things I've ever gotten, and I think, and if I'm getting this wrong, I extremely apologize, but I was given this. And this is a challenge coin. And a soldier or a veteran gave this to me and challenged me to be better than I was the day before. And I've always tried to live by that. And I think it's fitting. Every day is something different. So I'm hoping that this will be, you know, some, some, I guess, courage. Another coin. I mean, I've got a flag hanging up there that I could show you, but that they've flown behind an aircraft in Afghanistan. It sent me the flag, put it in a shadow box. It's cool to be involved with these guys. And I've had even some tell me that like my YouTube stuff, that like some of my Instagram stuff has helped them get through hard times. I said, why? They're like, you take my mind off of stuff, Adam. And I'm like, yeah, all I do is ride a four wheeler. And that's where it becomes very impactful, is all I'm doing is riding a four wheeler to me. But to them, I'm doing all these other great things that I don't even know I'm doing. And maybe that's where being a good person, like my mom said, it pays off.
Yeah, I definitely believe being a good person pays off in the long run. I mean, you could be the best racer, but if you're kind of an asshole, it doesn't matter that much. So,
Agreed. Agreed. People see through the smoke and mirrors, and I have learned that.
so speaking of other memorable moments, you have 19 overall wins in your pro career. Do you have a favorite win, or even if it's not a win, do you have a favorite race memory?
Yes, I do. Okay. So this one here is kind of heavy. This is my most memorable. And the reason I say it, let me just leave that in the corner right there. And the reason I say that is because we talk about like being involved and being good to people, and my dad has been involved with me since the start. And if I don't want to get choked up talking about it, because this one means a lot. So this was when 19, me and my dad were sleeping in a box trailer, and when that night, my dad's a very tough love type person, and he told me, he's like, Kurt, I'm proud of you. And I said, for what? He goes, you're up all day, you're running around, you're doing this, you're doing that. He goes, you hardly ever have time for yourself. And I said, I know. I said, but it'll be fine, right? So I end up winning that day, and I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget this moment. But we're using a truck that I borrowed from a friend. We're sleeping in a trailer. We get out of there with first overall. Okay. We get out of there, and I look at him, and I'll never forget it. It's like we did it, you know, at 30, 36, 37. It's like we did this. Me and you, we shared this moment. It's like, I didn't think the wins were ever going to happen again. and I would love for another one to happen. I'd like to make it 20, but to share this and that with my father, and it was, yeah, yeah. Every time I see this one, I get a little choked up. I never got a championship. I never, but this, this, this piece of wood with some base that holds so much for me, and I can never, I'll never be able to explain it. It's like the fist bump, the look, the like, we're the guys again, that kind of thing.
Well, and what I love about what you just said is that you said we did it. You didn't say I did it. Like it takes a team, and your family and everybody that supported you has like gone into making this happen, and that's what I love
It,
that you said we.
it's a lifestyle. My wife has been in this with me forever. I mean, you're in it, you do it. I mean, you have to give up so much, especially to chase the series like I've done or I'm doing, and it takes so much sacrifice to work things around, to work on the bike, to fit the train. It's a full-time job, and I'm very fortunate to do it now, 20 years, and yeah, it's very humbling, and it's almost, you have to be a very self-driven person to want to chase this. There's no alarm clock, there's no schedule, there's nobody saying that this is the book, right? It's very, you gotta take yourself and make yourself accountable, from fans that are watching online to the fans that are at the track, to the ones that were there that gave me the beers at that win, to my wife, and to the it's a community of people that made that for me happen.
We've kind of covered some highlights of your career. You've been racing for decades. So, what is the future for Adam McGill? What's next on the agenda?
I knew I was going to get asked this. Um, well, shit. It's it's hard. It's hard to talk about, but 20 2026 is it's going to be my last full season. So, and what I mean by that is I don't want to say I'm retiring, because I feel like that word is very harsh, and it's very like I'm leaving people behind, right? When you retire from something, it's the next page, right? And granted, it will be a next page for me, but I I don't want people to think I'm giving up on them, and I'm not. And this is what makes it so difficult is I don't want to abandon people. It's talk about taking care of people. We talk about being good to people, right? And I've won a lot of championships, never myself, but it's time for Adam to slow down a little bit, in a figure of speech, right? I still want to be involved and help, but I'm ready. I'm ready to. I don't even want to say it because it sounds bad. I don't want to say I want to retire, but it's like I'm ready to slow down, I think's the word that I want to use. I still want to be there. I still want to be involved. I don't plan on going anywhere. And if you think I'm going anywhere, that's fine and dandy, because I'm still going to be a pain in the ass regardless. But I just want to take a step back from full time racing. Adam McGill needs to retire from the full time racer.
I feel like you kind of dropped a bombshell on us there. And also, like, you're like, it's hard to put into words, but like you're focused on how other people are going to feel about you retiring rather than
Hmm.
even yourself. So I think it's totally time for you to like take some time for yourself and for your family to have some more free time, because racing full time is a lot of time and energy and effort. So I think it's well earned.
And I love it. I do. And I noticed, and this isn't a decision that is made today. This isn't what people think. And then, like, I'm done with it. I'm fed up with it. I'm done. this has been weighing on me for a while. And if I can honestly give you a number, probably 2 years, maybe even 3, 2 for sure. And I noticed for me, it's not I noticed when I got more enjoyment out of you doing better, them doing better, me helping them get them a championship, me helping them win, me like I always put it into perspective. It's like when somebody comes off the track and they pull over there and they take their helmet off, and I see that, I know that feeling, good or bad. I know that feeling. And that's when, for me, it became evident that, like, I'm getting to the end of my performance side, right? This to me right here, this is performance, right? A lot of memories with it, but it's not where I think my heart is. My heart's still on the racing side, yes. But I love the stories that these other people, these other riders that will tell me about them because I've lived every one of them. I know what it's like to get passed in the last quarter. I know what it's like to lead wire to wire. I know what it's like to be fighting for championships and break down. I know what it's like. I know these feelings. And I think a lot of it is I've had to juggle a racer, a brand builder, and a husband, or even an employee, right? So it's like now with me telling you this, and it's still hard. But I think now with me taking one away, and now I can focus on two, now I can do a better job. So I invite, God, this is tough. I invite everybody out. 2026, I invite anyone and everyone that wants to come out, that wants to say hi, that wants to talk, this anything, right? All the way. It's not a retirement race. It's a tour. I'm doing a tour. And I'm not doing this for me, because if I wanted to retire, I could just retire. It'd be done. But I want to do it for everyone else, for how I impacted you. If you want to tell me a story about when we first met and I was peeing over in the bushes and I pissed you off because I'm peeing next to then fine, tell me the story. If you want to tell me about how I helped your kid get into racing, I would love to hear those because I've got my stories and my memories, but I would like to hear other people's, right? And I want to do, I'm wanting to do certain things at certain events, have like a fire, like a bonfire, and people bring over like their whatever they want, right? Their beverages. And we just sit around the fire and we just talk. And it doesn't have to be about me, but it's like I want to enjoy this last part of my professional racing career. Does that make sense? Like I still want to be a there, but it's like as a racer first. Like I want to enjoy that last year as a racer, like loading up the trailer with my dad, going to the races, sign up. Just dumb stuff to sign up, right? I still don't pre-register to this day because I love to mingle with the fans. I like to talk. I mean, I like to talk shit. I like to help. There's a reason that I do things that I do. It's because I truly deep down love this sport. I mean, the house was built on this sport. My wife, I met her on this sport. I met all these other deep rooted people that are involved in my life all because I rode a four-wheeler. I raced a four-wheeler. And to me, it's like those are what it was about, right? The performance is great. All the trophies that you see, all that is great. But it's the memories that I've made from it. I think that's the hard part to not let go of, but to to start new. And that's the hard thing. 20 years XC1, 25 years or 24 years GNCC racing. It's like I'm 38 years old. That's over half my life. And here I am talking about it, you know, with a girl that my wife met on Craigslist.
Oh, that's great. Um, Yeah, I think it's gonna be an emotional year, but I think it'll be a really fun year for you too. Like maybe you're getting back to the basics.
Yeah, me and Haley have talked about it a lot, right? And no, when this comes out, still it'll. I don't think people know because it's something that I don't even want to say. It hurts, but going to the races now and knowing that it doesn't. It does matter. I'm sorry. It does matter. The performance does matter. The being there for people does matter. But what doesn't is now it's going to be all the bullshit. It's like, you know what? We're here. We're going to have fun. My wife looked at me the other day. She goes, "Can we go back to the races and have fun?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I've got a lot of cool things that I am working on it for my tour that is going to literally blow people's minds. That's going to make a staple that is going to give them things to talk about, hopefully for years to come. And I'll share with you one of my biggest fears in life is, we talked about the veterans, we talked about the racing, we talked about the kids, we talked about, this retirement. And my biggest fear in life is being forgotten because this is so year to year to year. And I hope to God that I did a good job to where people will not forget about me. That's what I want. I want to be, I don't have a number one. I'll never be a champion, right? I got one more year that I can maybe be one, but in relative terms, at 38 years old, I'm not going to be a champion. But I can definitely make them remember. You remember Adam when he did this? Or you remember when Adam used to do this? Or you remember like that? I want to be, I don't want to be forgotten. And that's a tough one. That's the hardest one to swallow. I think that's why this makes it so hard, is because I'm so afraid of that.
Knowing you, you're not gonna be somebody that, like you said, just like walks away. And I think sometimes when people just walk away, sometimes they do like fade into the distance. But I can still see you being involved, and I don't feel like you're going to be forgotten because you're still going to be involved in some capacity. And people have so many memories with you. And I doubt that you're just going to hang up the social media end of it too. I can totally see you just making some random appearances, even even post retirement. So yeah, hey, maybe you'll be post race reporting on somebody else's races in the future instead of your own.
It could be. It could be. I don't know what. I have some ideas in the direction that Adam McGill is going, that I am going. Um, I don't know if they're right yet, and I truly think like I said and I don't know if I've talked about this, but in my life growing up to where I am now, some of the hardest decisions I have ever made have been some of the best decisions I have ever made. So I'm not saying this is the best decision I have ever made, but this is one of the absolute hardest things I've had to do in a long time. And it's like I said, it's not a today thing. It wasn't like I just decided to do it today. It's been weighing on me for a while, and things have changed, in the sport and in the industry and the world, and I think I think Adam McGill has run his course as a professional racer, and Adam McGill is looking for that next thing, that next drug, that next fix, and it might be working for a company inside the industry. It could be getting completely outside the industry. I don't know what it holds, but I think this will open doors for me that I didn't even know was there. And I'm always a glass half full kind of guy, and I truly think that the next step will be even bigger and more impactful than the performance side.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. So, I mean, I'm excited for you. Like, I know it's emotional. I know it was a big decision, and it is tough to walk away from stuff. However, I feel like you've taken the time to think about it, and you're doing what's best for you. And people are still gonna love you, whether you're a full-time professional racer or not. I'm excited for you for next season, but let's tell our listeners where they can follow along and support what you've got going on in 2026 and beyond, and where they can connect with you online.
So they can follow me on Instagram, Adam K. McGill. They can follow me on Facebook as well. Don't be fooled by all the imitators. There's only one originator. That's me. And I do have some YouTube stuff up. I haven't been super active with that. I'd like to get back on that as well. That's under Adam McGill as well. But as far as the racing side, we've got a lot of unique things going on, and I've talked about it with the wife. It's just logistically trying to make it all happen. Wanting to go to different events, wanting to travel. When I say travel, I'm wanting to go to different races. I tried some things last year, and it seemed to get a lot of traction. So I'm wanting to. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I'm wanting to do some of that this year. Make each event very unique and very special, and that's why I want to do this with you, because we have that connection. So it's like I can talk about things that doesn't feel like it's scripted, and that's what I want to invite people to come to the racetrack. Come to the racetrack. Don't look at me as this person, and I don't think anybody ever has, and I never tried to put myself there. Come to the tracks. I'll let people know. I want to do like bonfires, and maybe do s'mores for the kids at different areas, right? Because a lot of people that go to like South Carolina usually might not go to Florida, or might not go to Alabama, or here or there. So that's why I want all these people that listen to this podcast to come out and just share in that moment. And it's something that I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but like to let you know how much people mean to me. And I hate taking up more of your time, but like, I keep this stuff that people have drawn for me, that people have given me. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, I've got a whole folder of stuff that I've gotten over the years. So this stuff is like, could I be forgotten? I don't know. And that's where it's, I think Adam McGill needs to focus on this now more than the performance. And that's why this decision was, that's why I felt comfortable talking with you and telling you about it, because I think I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for my next step. Not sure what it is yet, but I'm ready.
Sometimes that's the exciting part, is not knowing. A little bit nerve-wracking, but also exciting.
Very, very nerve-wracking. So, I'm sorry to pull at heartstrings. Oh my God, this was so hard.
Well, thank you for choosing this podcast and me to make this announcement. And I'm excited for the next chapter of Adam McGill. And just looking forward to it. So thanks to everybody for tuning into Momentum. This has been a production of High Gear Success. If you want to connect or recommend a guest, head to MomentumMotorsportsPodcast.com. Until next time, keep the momentum rolling.